Entrepreneurs aren't born, they are made through failures, breakthroughs, and relentless hustle. Welcome to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, 100 plus podcast stations. This is where visionaries share their unfiltered journeys, strategies, and game changing insights. Your success story starts here. This is more than just a show, it's a movement. Watch, learn, and elevate. Hello and welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, and today I have a story for you. And when I say I have a story for you, I don't just have a success story for you. I have a story for you to get inspired. I have a story for you to get something that can take your business life to the next level. I have a story for you to understand the power of grit and resilience. And most importantly, I want you to have grit and resilience. If you have been on this journey with the Empower Entrepreneur in the last 10 weeks, the one thing I can assure you is I'm getting countless messages of people who are changing themselves each and every day. And that's our goal with each episode, with each show that we are bringing to you, that we share stories of guests that helps you with not just your life, but with each and every step that you're taking from today itself. Today, I have a guest who knows what they have done, who has authority, who has experience, and who has what you need right now. Today's guest is Ritu Chopra. She is a technologist, author, and award winning film producer, spiritual seeker, and leadership coach. Her journey from Fortune 500 firms to founding her own mission driven nonprofit is a testament to what's possible when you lead from within. Ritu, I'd like to have you on the stage. Welcome to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. Let's start. How's everything on your end?
Thank you. Thank you, Rohit. Thank you for having me on your show.
So, Ritu, like right away, we'll offer value to your people, right, who's watching it, and they want to learn about you, they want to know about you, they want to know your journey. So, tell us how you went from tech to film to coaching is anything but ordinary. So, what inspired you to have this evolution in your career?
The journey begins before tech began, before anything else began. So I would share very quickly as growing up in a very loving, close knit family. My father was a very intellectual human being, very loving father, and I had the great opportunity to be trained by him at a very early age in my life, in my early teens, that I really contribute to what I had learned. Um, Unknowingly, the dad and I were on a journey, and the knowledge he imparted became the foundation, the cornerstone of my life. See, he had given me a diary that his client often gave him, so many diaries in the beginning of the year, and one of the diary that I used to write from weekly newspaper, major newspaper, uh, Bachcho Ki Dunia. I used to write those quotes. And when I migrated to United States, the diary was my best friend. And the learning that I had in my early teens, it began from my having beautiful handwriting. One day, his clerk didn't show up for some personal emergency at family, so he needed some forms filled out. So he called me. I remember I must have been 12 or 13 at that time. He asked me to fill out some forms. Um, Court forms, I don't remember anything. It's just that he dictated and I filled out. So he liked my handwriting. And then he had often called me for some time. He needed some help. And I think that very innocent, un, uh, act of just doing something when there was something needed to be done became the foundation of my learning from my father. And um, by age of 18, I had presented with him in Delhi High Court, borrowing a gown of the black gown of his assistant, and appeared with him because I was learning so much and he trusted me so much. So he wanted to give me the exposure. That exposure of having those kinds of foundation in early life that most teenagers don't have, I'm privileged to have that strong foundation that became my journey. When I moved here, my life drastically changed. Circumstances were not as favorable. In those adverse circumstances, education, higher education interrupted to so much. Now you find yourself in an unknown country without the network of family and friends that you have. Um, you have to figure out, you're thrown into life, you have to figure out life on your own. How do you do that, right? We are as in a family circle, growing up in a, that was taken away. So you go back inside. Nobody teaches you how you have to lead. If somebody is there for you, you're among the fortunates. Either you seek out mentors, or you have an opportunity who are there. For me, I was very much drawn to um, literature. And this was Dr. Radhakrishnan's book that I had brought in one of my early trips with me, that I read that seek mentors and seek their advice and adopt it, something like that, not as verbatim but something like that. And I really, really hung on to it. I internalized it. My mentors have been on ground to living to non-living to 39,000 up in the air. I took every opportunity of being mentored. um, I would never judge any situation, any circumstances. However, I had to learn from my circumstances. The adaptation from circumstances became my journey. What inspired me, I, given the very adverse circumstances that I had, the beginning as a young adult, um, self-inspired, because as growing up years, I was really ambitious young woman, and that ambition and a sense of humor in the face of chaos in life, altogether it became my inspiring journey. What comes your way, you have to be strong enough to evaluate, to assess, to find meaning, and make sense of it all by yourself. So that's how my journey started. So I hope that that gives you a little bit glimpse of how I started off as my early career.
Yes, yes, and I agree that sometimes life throws us different types of curveballs, Rituji, and then you want to take that and do something out of it. So if you were not in a place where you could have been initially comfortable, and you're not at a place initially with that, you just try to elevate yourself and become that person. And during that process, you become a better person, you become a better mentor, better mother, better father, better brother, right? So I believe it's those moments when you have to not be comfortable enough and still have to thrive. Test begins, real test begins. And that's what we'll learn out of this journey from you today. So right now we have to go into a quick break, guys. But when we come back in less than a minute, Rituji will share with you how deep spiritual alignment with professional power and the mindset shifts every leader needs to know. So I'll see you when we'll come back with even bigger and better information. As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done for you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing is that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So, your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host, Rohit Soni. And as discussed, we are back with Ritu Chopra, diving into what it truly means to master yourself before leading others. So, Rituji, as we were discussing before the break, we were discussing about your path, your journey, your inspiration. So, can you take us back to the moment you realized you were ready to walk away from traditional path and step into deeper calling, where you have helped so many people?
Yes, there had been various moments in different junctions of life, and what kept taking me back were some quotes that I had written in my eighth grade in school, in that little diary that Dad gave me. Um, the three stood out as my best friends throughout. One is the where there is a will, there's a way. No pain, no gain. Seek and you shall find. Whatever you are seeking for, you will find. It will take you to that path. So they were my companions throughout many, many years of my life. And then it becomes a second nature because you have shaped yourself. So the mastering life, you had talked about what it takes to master yourself before you become a leader. When you lead or when you coach, when you lead, you have followers per se. So without anyone following your instructions, your knowledge, your path, you're not leader by yourself, right? So you need the pack. So for anyone to follow you, you need to understand where you stand. Are the followers are there really? You have the skills, you have earned their trust, or they are ready to push you off the cliff. So you have to assess yourself, right? So the most important thing that stands out is people who would follow you is that if you have earned their trust, they believe in you, not just the skill set. It's not a some sort of degree that you have obtained from a big college or something, and then you automatically become leader. That becomes the persona that you bring to those degrees. That is the key. The trust becomes foundation of that. A good leader, men or women, it doesn't matter. The persona doesn't belong to a gender, right? So when you are leading yourself with dignity, with confidence, with earning trust, deliver more than you promised, bringing in the equanimity of people, not judging anyone. I, in my case, where I worked in Fortune 500 companies with having 70 people from 78 nationalities in one location, this is that you don't judge people, you understand them. And that was my own spiritual journey where I'm leading the project and the people and the processes. On the other side, I'm trying to understand people. So those two parallel were very important for my journey throughout. So there was not that, you wake up and you start the journey that day and now on it would be. It's gradual movement, right? You find when you look back, you find those aha moments of what took place that shaped you. Those are the kind of many incidents that I have, numerous incident I have, that not only I surpass my own expectations, but because the actual real life challenges that you're living, um, making sense of those, right? So it's not just the workplace, your career, your business, or your ambition, but you are juggling at the same time as a family person.
And
A
I
whole lot.
understand like this work-life balance you have to maintain while still helping and excel in your craft. It sometimes takes a lot of you as the leader yourself, and then you have to manage your whole team.
Oh, the part of the world we live, we don't have the luxury that in your part of the world you have the manpower. You have so many people come and serve you and take care of a lot of the mundane things. We have to incorporate in our day the mundane things that we have to take care of our household, etc. But that is not, that is our duty, right? So as a person, as a human being, you find ways to do it. What's important here is, Rohit, is how do you excel, right? So my daily requirements are no different than other person, right? So how do you excel? And that is the key here. The question that you have asked is the where I understood, not only observing people's behavior, understanding them with so many different nationalities and places that I would work with throughout the world, in my IT side of the area, um, gives you a little bit opening how to address something, how to have people who don't report to you deliver the work, how do you earn their trust, how do you understand the issues they're facing, how do you support them, not complain about it, right? So building those human relations were extremely important for me, and that also gave in understanding people. Once you touch a human being behind that title, you know that he or she is the father, mother, brother behind that title, son, daughter, someone else. You connect with that human being as a human being. You shift, you shift the pattern. You get a different results than just having someone's their title. Are they higher or lower in the food chain? It may work for some people, but as a leader, it doesn't.
Yeah, agreed. And Rituji, what happens is sometimes that I feel with my own leadership stuff, when I lead a team, I feel like sometimes managing expectations in people is a completely different ball game than most people know, and sometimes takes a toll on you. It sometimes makes you feel like, oh, what am I doing? Should I be judging? Should I be telling? Should I be communicating? And these things come, and these are part and parcels of life. And after teaching a lot of people, you do know how to excel into all these things, which we will dive later in the podcast. So you've worked across financial and healthcare industries as well. So what are some of the recurring leadership gaps that you have observed in these industries too? If you can just shed light on that.
Oh, yes, that's a very interesting question. So, recurring leadership gaps. Okay, it's a little bit tricky. Um, every leader, every person in charge, given their experience, given social, their economic factors, business landscape, uh, their role responsibilities, it can be very different. So there is no one set of challenges that applies to every situation. However, in my observation of 25 plus year in Fortune 500, the common leadership gaps that I have noticed is when you are pushing your agenda to others and you do not provide them clarity, you do not provide them guidance, you do not provide them support, and expecting the results. That's common one. I hope I have answered your question.
And yes, I get it. And sometimes when you as a leader come up and try to excel in different industries, you know what gaps you see, because I believe you have helped a lot of people. And even each one of people who are in different industries have different challenges with you, right? And each
There are.
says it's unique.
Yes, there are different challenges as far as the business strategies, etc., are, but human challenges are pretty common, right?
Yeah.
Being in silos, not knowing the directions, the larger the enterprise, the silos become even visible. The areas of my expertise where I have been, so if I can explain that I was in my role, that you can see the bird's eye view of how teams are functioning in unison, or there are silos or disconnects, and the technology was growing. So I came in into this around Y2K, right? So I have looked at the machines who were the size of the ATM. So
Mhm.
you now, if you can understand
Go
that
ahead.
the technology growth, it was happening. So you have, I do not want to say that in a negative sense that there is a team dysfunction. The team dysfunction is a team disconnect. So the disconnect becomes dysfunction,
Yeah.
right? How do you solve human challenges, right? So that is something common regardless of the particular industry type.
And according to you, like, what's the one mindset shift or habit that every leader needs to cultivate to have their own inner power and clarity? Because a lot of leaders or new age entrepreneurs go through this where they don't have clarity, where they don't know what the next step is. So, as
Ah,
a coach and a personal mastery
yeah.
leader yourself, what's your take on it?
I would answer this question as a coach. So the mind shift, even people who are very well trained, who are established in their domain, they also need to change their mindset once in a while, right? So currently here in United States, the data that we have is just sharing that, and I'm sure that is pretty much similar in other parts of the world, is that we have right now six generations in the workplace. Each generation, from baby boomers to Gen Zers, so each generation brings their own traits, their own qualities, their own challenges. They have been their own work ethics. So, um, a common strategy pushed out doesn't work for leaders. It's not a something written on papers or the walls or the mission on the website or vision and a mission that doesn't really help people. Yeah, mission and a vision is required, uh, but how often these leaders themselves adopt that? That's where you try to get the uh, situation of a personal mastery. Personal mastery from the program that I teach is that just like if you go to a gym to work out and you have a personal trainer, they'll try to work with you to strengthen your core muscle. So the same strategy here is that personal mastery is to you become unshakable no matter what circumstances you have, because if you have that clarity of what are you dealing with, where you have control, where you have support, where the challenges lie that can push you off the track, how would you assess them? How would you deal with them? Um, and who would support you? Right. So that's the focus that I bring in into my coaching processes, and that is the mindset shift that I think there is not a common answer depending on generation, depending on where they're coming from, their upbringing, their set of sets skill sets, and the set of knowledge collectively they have. um, it makes a difference. It has nothing to do with gender or the age group. You can have a brilliant young person that is ready to launch the change, bring the change. That is a win-win. But if you have a decision maker at the top who doesn't want to understand the new concept, that change doesn't take place. So I would like to say that we all have to be part of that mindset shift as needed.
Yeah, and I believe it's time for everyone to have that mindset shift. And as a coach, your work is to get people to be confronted with the fact that yes, they need to make a change, and it's high time to make that change. And sometimes us as leaders are not even confronted with the fact that, oh, I really need to step it up now. I really need to step up my game, and I'm not. I maybe I'm falling short in these terms of responsibilities, which is why my team's not getting the results that I deserve. My team's not getting where they want to be. Like,
Rohit, if I may, I think the bigger challenge for leaders is that the rapid growth in business landscape. Sometimes long-term planning is hard, right? Um, so much happens, right? You have the workforce number today, a month later, you will have a different scenario. Um, so those are the kind of things that leaders always face, and there is no written solution for it readily available to them to say, okay, if scenario one you apply this, scenario two you apply that. You have to be open to assess. You must have a go-to person, that who a trusted network of people, that they are there. It's regardless of the gender, regardless of the power or the hierarchy or the food chain, wherever you are. If you do not have go to people who you can trust, who can really be your sounding board, it becomes very difficult for leaders to say we as human beings get stuck,
yeah,
right?
agreed. And when sometimes human beings get stuck, they don't make the right choices again, which goes back to why you need coaches and mentors like yourself. So, Rituji, as I've seen and I've been working with you, I know that you're a strong advocate of women empowerment. So, what's your take on that? How do you do that? And what does to you real empowerment looks like beyond just the buzzwords? Because I believe you, as yourself, a woman, you have done it. So, could you shed light on that, please?
Yes, thank you for that question. So, women empowerment means different thing to different people in different cultures, different countries, different part of the society. So, with respect to all of those different definitions and mindsets about women empowerment, what I am going to be sharing my thoughts on it is that an empowered woman can empower a whole family, a community, society, and she is capable of making that difference because as women, our nature is empathy. We are DNA, we are designed to embrace the word and bring everyone to the table. So, having that power, women now in our current in 2025, we're close to 50% workforce, paid workforce, that is. Women globally have $20 trillion buying power. Still, we pay more, higher prices for small outcome. We make less money. My take today is not equal pay or anything. It's just that an example of it. So we contribute a lot. So, but the biggest challenge for women around the world is that we still having uh, crossed the glass ceilings and broken the glass ceilings, and from anywhere from farm labor to aerospace, and having $20 trillion buying power globally, we still have to prove ourselves over and over and over again. That is a bigger mind shift that we as a society need to change.
Well, with saying that, I believe the whole goal of this show is to let people know that they can be empowered. And even women, or I'll say men as well, we all need to step up and encourage each other to live up to our greatest potential. And with that note, we have to run into a quick break again. But like I said, when we'll come back, Rituji will share with you the intersection of spirituality and high performance leadership, and how Ritu herself brings souls into the systems so that they can thrive and achieve amazing levels of success. So I'll see you guys right out of this short break. As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done for you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing is that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So, your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host, Rohit Soni, and today's guest is Ritu Chopra. Now, let's talk about something that's often left out of boardrooms: spirituality, consciousness, and purpose driven leadership. Because I have seen with my own journey sometimes that without purpose, there's no leadership. And you can try to do a lot of things while still getting burned out, but without having the right consciousness, it's not going to work out for you. I've tried it myself. So Rituji will shed light on that, but I really want to make sure you guys take notes of this segment because this is going to be the most important part of the show right now. So Rituji, welcome back on the stage. So Rituji, you speak a lot about spiritual journey. How does it integrate with your leadership and coaching today, with how many people you have helped and how many people you're currently working with? So could you shed light on that, please?
Yes, thank you for that question. The purpose driven leadership is 21st century approach. Consciousness, we are conscious human beings. The social animals or social species, human race, any word people want to use. We're just not the flesh and bone bodies, it's a mind and soul within us, right? So when we bring in ourselves to a purpose driven leadership or integrating spirituality, what is spirituality at the basis of it is set aside the religion. The spirituality is sort of a solidness that you bring in. Your religion anchors you to that practice. You could be not religious but be spiritual, and that's okay too. Spirituality is not limited to a single religion. Anyone can be find that spirituality. And when you find yourself, the inner strength that you develop, the perseverance, like I said earlier, willpower, so important for leaders, right? The ability to take actions, ability to make decisions, ability to guide others, ability to stand up when things are not just, be able to say confront and lead with that kind of tenacity leads to that having that spiritual built in, right? So when you see that, when you find it in yourself and you lead with that kind of character, the audience, your followers, or whoever you're dealing with, they see, they feel your strength in a good way. In a good way. You bring them to the same table, you bring them to the same level without having that fight, uh, but you become bring that fight to a dialogue, and that changes things.
And when things changes, you have to also accept, Rituji, that sometimes whatever you're doing without having real consciousness and spirituality, you need to maybe have someone who can guide you, someone who can support you.
Yes. Being conscious, if you didn't get the results at the level 10, you walked away from at level 7, but you're conscious inside as a human being, you're still satisfied because it wasn't 0 or 2. You still walked away with something better than nothing, right? And then you still are that human being that able to answer yourself and have the level of support of people around you. Without having people around you or followers around you, you're not leader. You need them. As much as they need you, you need them also. So it becomes that serving leader kind of mindset that you have to bring into that service. Not just the title. I mean, we can all strive for titles, but leadership is more than title.
Well, I completely agree that leadership isn't just about title. It's about stepping up. It's about guiding. It's about supporting. It's about what they say, elevating people, elevating your team, taking
Yes,
them to the next level, even if they're struggling,
yes.
telling them what's holding them back without being disrespectful, and encourage people. Like there's a person that I know whose name is MS Dhoni, which is an amazing leader. The one thing that he always used to say in his post-match interviews, even if he loses or even if he wins as a leader, that I have to take away the result out of my mind and think about the process. If I'm getting my processes right, Rituji, I'm gonna get the result, no matter what. No matter how good we play or how bad we play today,
Mhm.
results don't matter. What actually matters is if you are putting in the process. Result, he has over 75% of win percentage. And that's what true leader does. He elevates his team, and that shows in the character of people in the same exact team.
Rohit, sometimes it takes a very small act to lift people. I tell you a story. I was working with one major pharmaceutical global company, and we had a lot of IT outsourced vendors at the same location. So the whole floor was given to them, different section of the floor, different vendors. Out of two or three, I used to work very frequently. Whenever I was at that floor, I made a point to stop in their section, speak to people, whoever was there, managers or testers or whoever were there. I would say hello, talk to them, we'll check in. If there was anything from our side of the team, we could help them. If there's something that they are not getting answers on, even not from my side, but anyone else on the team, I would have small conversations. And just that small act of stopping by, I would had sometime their managers come to me and say, our team was really appreciative of you stopping by to say hello. I never had problem dealing with any kind of deliverables on time. Just a small act, stopping by to say hello and asking them if there was anything we could do to support. Was was it asked of me? No. I made that choice. So it is about lifting others. And someone else listening to this may have a different situation. A lot of entrepreneurs, you hire people on team, and everyone else, You may have a standard operating procedure, but there is no standard operating procedures for people, right? So you have to guide them, you have to prepare them. Before we expect, we have to teach. So I think that's where the leaders become more effective, when they take time to ask the right questions, understand what is needed at what stage. Once you do that, your team, people have, majority of the people that I have come across from around the globe, they are very pleased to deliver their work because they take pride in what they do. What ticks them off is not getting connected, right? Not having clear directions, a toxic relationship with the coworkers and things. And I think leaders have to assess those kinds of things and jump in, chip in where someone needs help, where someone needs to be disciplined. And it's okay. We all have good days, bad days. Things happen to us. We're human beings. But that's the understanding that everyone needs to have. Be supportive, be kind, um, give help wherever you can.
I have a question. Like, what's the difference between being supportive and being kind versus telling them the truth and telling them they're having a bad day and things are not working out to them? So how would you just say the same words to someone who's going through it?
Ah, so these type of conversation, okay, being kind and being supportive, all right. If a person who he or she does their job regularly, different way, they all of a sudden you see making mistakes. The person is making a lot of mistakes. You have to repeat something over and over. Maybe something is going on. Maybe that is a private conversation to have, instead of telling them negatively, giving a feedback in front of others. Okay, is there something that you should be aware of? Is there something that they need support? Would they need some time off? Give them some space to deal their situation. So here in United States, we have a lot of the privacy situations, and people have, some employers offer life coaches, etc. They have a secure way of communicating with someone that really alleviates a lot of the burden without being judged by managers or coworkers. I'm not sure on your side of the world how things are at the workplace level, but as friends and colleagues, even if you give them some support or say, all right, is there something?
I can help you with something. I can maybe
Yeah.
support you with. If
Yes.
you if you're in a place where you think you need help, go for it. Ask for it. Share with
That's
someone.
that's why I say that touch the human, right? We need to bring back that human values into our communications. I am not, being a tech leader, I'm not afraid of technology, but I will share something, for my observation, that yes, we live in the world right now, that we use emojis and abbreviations for having conversation. The words have more power when
Hmm.
you say to other human being.
Yeah, I agree.
One sentence um, could make a difference for that person. Uh, just touch that human being as a human being. That is more important than anything else we do. But we are in that world of using technology for our communication. Yeah, it's quick, it's easy, it's there. You could come back and look at it, don't like it, delete it, whatever. It gives you more power that way, but it's not as effective, right? So I take time typing my whole message when it matters, right?
Exactly.
When it matters, that little acknowledgement can change the other person. You, in the meantime, in that process, you strengthen that human relation. What you have done to other, now that person can do for others. So you create that ripple effect of human relations. Even in the age of AI, we still need humans.
Yeah, I agree. And people needs to be treated as people. Sometimes they don't have to be treated as machines. That's one of the things that we'll talk about as well. So yeah, thanks a lot, Riluji, for shedding light on that subject. We have to jump into another break. So before and when Rituji comes back, she'll share with you about storytelling, legacy, and power of voice, and how she has been able to produce films, and that has become a part of her leadership mission too. So I'll see you right after this break. As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done for you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing is that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So, your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So, welcome back to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host, Rohit Soni. Before going to the break, we talked about spirituality. We talked about burnout. We talked about leadership. We talked about how you can become a better leader than what you are today and how you can lead teams better. So, beyond coaching, Ritu has brought powerful stories to life as a film producer herself. So, let's talk about that side of her mission. So, Rituji, I'll just have you back on the stage. You're an award winning film producer. How did storytelling become such a big part of your life's work, and how did you start that?
Oh, wow. The I am a storyteller. Started with a story reader. I was 9 years old. My dad was a very intelligent, intellectual person who was also as a attorney. He was also a publisher of a law journal, and he used to subscribe a lot of newspapers. And one of them at that time, Hindustan Times had Bachcho Ki Dunia. So I used to read those stories. So I will be waiting for newspaper delivery and go open, pick up that section. And I remember I was 9 years old. I read the story of Cinderella in Hindi, and I just loved it. And, as a um, every week I would read for those folk stories around the world. And I think that became a very interesting part of my upbringing of and being global citizen, being in the tech world uh, in Northeast United States, New York area. I had opportunity to work with people around the world, and I mm, um, say it nicely that I had chance to work with people with every accent, with every time zone, at every continent, which is true. And it had been very interesting because when you learn people from who they are, you become that kind of a human being to connect with what inspires them, how you touch the other people whose lifestyle is different than yours, right? But there's a common thread of our humanity. So I look for that common thread. How you inspire someone that doesn't report to you in a different continent, has to deliver some work on time. How do you connect with that? So I think that's the kind of storytelling became my part because I connected very well. I call myself a global citizen, and I have friends and colleagues and many acquaintances in all different parts of life, parts of the globe. Um, how that became as a important for a film that I did, the documentary series, the award-winning documentary series as a techie, which is my another self-called title is the techie runaway filmmaker. Um, I was never fond of watching long commercial films. I didn't had much interest in them. However, I had observed that growing up in high school, school years, colleges, and neighbors and friends and everyone they have gone seen a film, they would talk about it for weeks. The major source of entertainment were commercial films, and they became so important for all of the social connection. And at this stage, when I did my documentary series, two of them, I realized that if the visuals are more important, as people don't have the attention span anymore to read a book, to understand, and in our memory that gets lost. But a visual done right has a lasting impact. That became my thought process to start the documentary films. So I had never stepped in into any school to learn how to film. I'm techie. His mother is doing all my other stuff, my books and writing and everything. I never went to film school, but I was doing a TV show, right? So you are where you are. You have to start making sense, right? Once you get to that stage of making sense and accept, and especially if you have some sort of regret, go to people,
Exactly.
talk to them,
Yeah.
talk to them, don't hide. Things can change. It
Be
when
fully transparent. Be fully transparent, right?
yes, it fulfills the both sides, right? So we need to do that. And for career, again, are we are living in a very volatile business landscape, right? Either politically, technically, or so many other ways, things change. And they were going to change. We anticipate some change, some we can prepare, others we cannot, right? Um, we just we know that it had been 5 years since the lockdown of pandemic began into 2020, right? In 5 years, the lessons we have learned at that time, a lot of people have forgotten. Can similar situation happen again? Perhaps. Are we prepared? Don't know. What do you need to prepare? It depends on for a person's career where you are situated, how open you are to learning and skilling. Skilling is really key when you talk about careers. If you could
Exactly.
pivot yourself with a new skill that would keep you afloat until you figure it out, because we cannot anticipate what could be a scenario, but we can understand that things can happen,
Yep.
right? So they both become very important.
Exactly. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it, Rituji. Thanks a lot for being on the show today. Thanks a lot for sharing your wisdom, your strategies, your techniques, and how would you deal with certain situations as a master personal mastery coach and as an executive coach. Just one last thing before we wrap up: how people can contact you, your platforms, if you can quickly share that before we go off here.
Yes, absolutely. LinkedIn, and we have on our website, they can reach out through our website, rituchopra.com. Um, Subscribe our newsletter. We have YouTube channels. You have my podcast show, Women of Power. So I really find very powerful women. So I'm proud to say that I have diplomats to NASA scientists and many others that I have interviewed. So there's social media connections. So you can share with your audience.
Perfect. So I'll just drop down all the links below after the show goes on air. And yes, that's pretty much it, Rituji. Thanks a lot for being an amazing guest, sharing your life lessons and your leadership with us today. This has been an amazing conversation of truth, strength, and soul. And we'd love to have you back again on the TV show. Thanks a lot, Rituji.
Thank you for having me.
So, yeah, that's pretty much a wrap for the show today. And like I said, if you like the value, and I believe you would have loved it because I loved every minute of it. And guys, I've learned a lot from different people along the way. But whenever I do shows like this, I get to learn even more. Maybe a new strategy I learn, maybe a new uh, thing that I get clear on. So, if you really like this episode, I would love for you to share with someone, your entrepreneur friend, your executive friend, your person who you know, or any leader, your colleague in your office. Share with them. Maybe this episode will shed light on something that you are not even confronted about. Share with them and have a great day. And thanks for tuning into the Empowered Entrepreneur Show. I'll see you next week. Thanks a lot. Success isn't for the chosen few, it's for those who choose to show up, take action, and never back down. This is The Empower Entrepreneur, hosted by Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, and 100 plus podcast stations. You've heard the strategies, you've seen the mindset. Now it's time to execute. I'll see you next week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Go, build, dominate. Until next time, stay empowered.